Mustang wheel goes round and round. Alright, so welcome back. Now I've got the front tires all polished, it's time to get these rear ones put on. So when I bought the car, the rear tires were bald, so I'm going to put on some new tires. They were a BF Goodrich GF G-Force, I think it was. It's just basically an all-weather sport tire. I don't need anything, I don't need drag radials obviously. This is just for fun. So I bought some G-Force tires from Tire Rack. Had them shipped up, got them mounted up. So these are going to go on, I'm running 17x9 cobra-r knockoffs on all four corners. The fronts are a 225 tire, so they're obviously kind of like a little, not really, but kind of like a medium. So these back ones here, these are going to be a 275. So I'm going to fit these on. Now one thing, if you've stayed on to any forum or Facebook long enough, you're always going to see somebody ask, I just bought a car, or I bought a Mustang, and what's the biggest tire I can run on stock suspension? So I'm going to show you what a 275 looks like when it goes on, and how you can easily fix it if you're going to run stock suspension 100%. So if you remember when I did the chassis setup, I'm running a stock uppers and lowers and even quad shocks. And because I'm not planning to change the suspension much this year, till next year I'll decide something different, I'm going to run the quad shocks all year just to keep my torque boxes in good shape until I can put in some reinforcements and get those welded in. So let me show you, I'm going to put this 275 on, and I'm going to show you under the car where it hits, and kind of we'll go through a solution and go from there. Alright, so now I'm under the car. You can kind of see where everything's going to hit. So obviously right here is the shock, the rear shock. Here's the quad shock, obviously the tire here. So right up here, I want to kind of block the light, but you can kind of see right up in here, this is where the quad shock and the tire are going to rub. Once you have this tire mounted up and that, once it goes through the full suspension travel, the quad shock will rub this tire on the inside. The easiest way to do there is just, before you mount this tire, take this quad shock off and basically switch it so that the body of it now is down by the rear shock here, and this gap here where the rod comes through is up by the tire. So let's get that started and we'll get this fixed. Okay, so now with my trusty light in hand, let me show you where it's going to be. So this top mount here, this is going to be a 19mm socket. Bottom here attached to the axle is going to be a 15. You do the 15 from the inside, you can do the 19 from the outside. Once you get those off, you basically just pull it up from the axle, take it off the stud, flip it, put it back on the stud, put it in the axle, put the bolts in, tighten them up, and those just do the old, what I was told is a German standard, the Guten tight, and then put your tire on. Pretty easy to do. Let's get. Alright, so obviously once you have the quad shock on, you can go ahead and put this tire on. So I'm going to get this thing mounted up and we'll show you the underneath once this is on. Okay, so there is the space. Now the quad shock obviously is swapped around. Still in place, still doing its job, but you can see there is a gap between the red Coney shock, quad shock, and now with the tire. So for a 275 tire, you just got to swap the quad shock around and that will get rid of the rubbing condition. And that's it. Pretty simple, huh? So that's pretty much it. Put a 275 tire on, nothing major. Now I need to get these polished up to look as pretty as the fronts, and then get this car back on its wheels and get the lug nuts torqued down so I can drive it soon. That's it for this time. If you have any questions, always you can drop me a question down in the box. Drop me a comment. Even check me out on Instagram. You always see what I'm up to. Talk to you later.